I guess it's a Chanel kind of week. In 1991, Karl Lagerfeld said it's the nouveau rapper look about his 1991 Chanel Paris Fashion Week show. And then just did another piece highlighting Chanel. This time, it's for Chanel's 1991 fashion show. This show is being credited with hip-hop and fashion. The show is inspired by the then head designer Karl Lagerfeld. And although this was great, I can't help but wonder, what was Karl's real motivation behind this? Like, where did the inspiration really come from? The hip-hop collection, as it was donned by the media, included black leather baseball caps, turned backwards, big leather bombers embossed with Chanel written in the back in pearls, heavy on the gold Cuban links, lots of chains, bamboo bracelets, harem style pants like these, and actually a little bigger, large belts, the whole nine that you would think of 90s hip-hop culture, or just 90s black culture in general. While Karl did pay his respects to the community, giving all the credit and inspiration to specifically like Harlem and New York street fashion and hip-hop culture, my mind goes straight to the influences of people like Dapper Dan. See, in the 80s and 90s, Dapper Dan was dressed in the streets of Harlem and all of the greater New York City area in Gucci and Louis. But we never really hear about Dapper Dan and Chanel. Was that a thing? The answer is yes. No brands were safe from my man Dapper Dan. He made those luxury brands boss up and get some actual street style. So my question becomes, once again, was Karl an actual mastermind that just understood that hip-hop culture and fashion and style was a trend, was something that was going to maintain influence in the fashion industry overall? We could make a strong argument for the affirmative. It's apparent that Chanel was the first of its kind in this way to really give hip-hop its credit, especially in 91. Gucci and Louis were not adding any new inspirations. They were too busy suing my man Dapper Dan. Just from a financial standpoint, we can see how Karl and Chanel had the upper hand by choosing to go with the influence of hip-hop culture into fashion. Because when you look at brands like Gucci and Louis, more specifically Gucci, which faced financial downturn in the 80s and had to be bought out by the Keurig family and has been a publicly traded company since like 86, I want to say, the late 80s, 90s, while Chanel is still, to this day, a privately held company. Because Chanel paid homage in the beginning to the ghetto hoops and the bamboo and the Cuban links, they're not doing backflips now in 2023, trying to cater to the ongoing influence of black culture and hip-hop culture on fashion. For example, Gucci in 2018 recently started to work with Dapper Dan, inviting him into the company, paying him homage, and also stealing some of his earlier work. Go back and watch my video on Dapper Dan to get the story on that. You can even make a strong argument that Louis did the same thing, not only with having Virgil, but also their latest asset in Pharrell. If you look at the brands now, specifically Gucci and Chanel, Gucci is catering to an athleisure type of market, which comes from hip-hop culture and black culture. We have the branded tees, the branded shoes, etc. And this is being done to maintain brand authority. Chanel, on the other hand, can be seen to remain more authentic to its original mission and values. Not saying that it doesn't include black culture, but Chanel is more so saying we paid homage and gave credit to hip-hop culture and its influence when it was happening in real time. That's the past. We don't have to do it because we already did it. Now we're on to something new. Chanel gave us our flowers, or more so New York City style. I'm a low country girl. So here are my parting words. In a world full of middle class shooting for luxury, will Chanel's brand and legacy continue to hold up sustainability and innovation?